Yo, what is going on, guys? Your boy Russ back again, and today we have some more Madden 17 Ultimate Team. Guys, I'm still fucking with the face cam. Seems like it worked last video pretty well, and, it's starting to seem like it's getting more consistent, but, I can't really guarantee it's going to work every time. I'm still getting used to these live commentaries, so wow. Please give me a break, just trying to figure these out and try to get these commentaries as good as I can, just doing it more and more. So you guys can see the team pretty much the same. The NFL draft went down yesterday, and I was going to talk about it in the gameplay, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the NFL draft during the gameplay. I'll probably ask you guys some questions on what you guys think of the draft. The draft players that came out were pretty expensive, at least at this time, because I am recording this pretty much right as they came out, and all the ones I want to try are way too expensive, so I can't really get any of those, but maybe eventually I'll get some gameplay with them. Who knows, maybe tomorrow I might get some gameplay with one. Who knows? But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this game and talk about the draft. Alright guys, so the NFL draft, honestly, I didn't really do my research that much on the draft this year. I don't know what it was. I just was kind of paying attention to baseball, like the Seattle Mariners, stuff like that. So I wasn't really paying much attention to the draft itself. I was only paying attention to possible picks for the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seattle Seahawks did not have a first-round pick. They traded back to 31 with the Atlanta Falcons and then traded completely out of the first round with the San Francisco 49ers. But I can't say with the picks that happened. Myles Garrett going number 1. I heard he was an absolute beast. I watched some footage of him after the game, or after the draft was finished, and he looks like a monster, man. So the Browns may have got themselves a franchise defensive player. That's, coming out of other people's words, is that he is an absolute monster. And also Mitchell Trubisky, who didn't look that impressive to me at the Combine. Honestly, I thought Deshaun Watson looked better than Patrick Mahomes and Mitchell Trubisky, who both went ahead of him. And, it was a little bit surprising that he went so high, as DeAndre Hopkins is going to completely destroy Janoris Jenkins. This dude's going to get into the end zone, so I'll continue talking when we get back on offense. All right, so like I said, Mitchell Trubisky and Patrick Mahomes did not look better than Deshaun Watson, at least to me. And I really feel like Deshaun Watson should have went a little bit higher than he did. He ended up going to the Texans, and that is a great pick by the Texans. I think they may have found themselves a QB, because I watched Deshaun Watson in the national championship, and I saw his combine. He looked great, man. I really feel like that he's better than both of those quarterbacks ahead of him. I could easily be wrong, of course, but, it seems like every year it's the same thing. Oh, this guy's this tall, he's this big, he's the prototype for a quarterback, and then you get like another fucking Jamarcus Russell. Well, not Jamarcus Russell, but you guys know what I mean. That type of player that's supposed to be great just because of his size, and he meets the intangibles, and then they never turn out. So I don't know how the hell that's going to work. Carson Wentz proved me wrong last year, playing pretty well for the Eagles, and then, of course, Jared Goff. I really don't know why he went number 1 to begin with. I don't really even know why Carson Wentz went number 2 to begin with. I never understand the quarterback draft, to be honest, except for a couple guys, but I definitely did not understand those two. And Mitchell Trubisky at number 2 didn't make much sense. Also, another pick I wanted to talk about was Leonard Fournette going at 4. Now, that was a little bit confusing. Now, I knew Leonard Fournette was going to go in the first round, of course. I knew a lot of people thought that he was going to go in the first round. That was pretty much a given. But going to the Jaguars, man, really doesn't make sense. The Jaguars have TJ Yeldon. They have Chris Ivory. They have Denard Robinson. I don't know why you would pack another running back into that battle. I mean, that really doesn't make sense to me, as Chad Ochocinco is going to get us a touchdown right here. So we went down the field pretty easy. So 2 quick scores from both of our offenses. All right, so back on defense, tied 7-7 with a minute 50 left. But as I was saying, I really don't understand the whole Leonard Fournette draft pick by the Jaguars. Just personally, I don't really understand. I didn't really understand when they signed Chris Ivory to begin with. Honestly, with TJ Yeldon, I thought he was a really good running back. And they signed Chris Ivory. Now they got Leonard Fournette. I don't know what they're going to do with those guys. Unless I'm missing something, I don't think they got rid of any of them. That would have been big news. I'm pretty sure I would have seen that, as Jalen Ramsey got completely fucked up by A.J. Green. Wow. Don't know what A.J. Green that is, but damn, he got toasted. But another pick I wanted to talk about, there was one that I was looking at that was kind of Christian McCaffrey. That's right, at 8. Christian McCaffrey goes to the Carolina Panthers. I was a little bit surprised with that. I didn't think he'd go that high, to be honest. I've watched Christian McCaffrey for years. Being a Husky fan, he's gone against the Huskies, of course, for years in the Pac-12, and he was definitely a frustrating guy to go against as we force a fumble. This dude's going to spin with David DeCastro. But anyway, Christian McCaffrey, I actually really like McCaffrey. I was hoping the Seahawks could possibly get him, but obviously top 10, that was not going to happen. And especially since the Seahawks signed Eddie Lacy, it just made it even less of a possibility, than it already was. So, as far as the entire draft goes, it was definitely entertaining to watch as we get a strip sack, and that is 2 strip sacks back-to-back, and Jadeveon Clowney falls on that one. So, and it looks like this dude might quit, so we might have to go ahead and continue this conversation after this. Connection to your peer has been lost. If they gave me the loss, I'm going to be pissed. All right, so it did give me the win for that game, and we are back into another game. And you guys already know I had to talk about my boy John Ross getting picked number 9, top 10 pick to, oh my God, I got stuck, and luckily that's broken up. Getting picked number 9 by the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton is going to have a fun weapon to play with, man. John Ross, for those of you that don't know, I'm a huge Washington Husky fan. I'm a fan of like every, freaking team in Washington and Seattle and stuff like that. So I support Washington, to the end, man. And John Ross is an absolute beast. I loved watching him at Washington this year. He tore it up with Jake Browning and also Dante Pettis. For those of you that don't know who Dante Pettis is, he's basically just the second receiver for the Huskies, but he was a beast along with John Ross. And it was just fun to watch those guys play. And John Ross, of course, he got known. He was on the map because of the, what the fuck is that caught? The 4.22 40 that he ran at the Combine, which is the fastest in modern history. So that's just, I think that the Bengals made a nice pick. The only problem with Ross is that I feel like his injuries could get to him. Obviously last season he did play pretty well. He was really healthy all year, but he did have a shoulder issue towards the end of the year. And I really don't think he's going to have any problems with injury, but you never know with players like that. I'm really hoping John Ross will be okay and not have many injury issues, if any at all. And, dude, I hate this fucking controller. This shit, I'm using the same controller from last video. It makes me dive whenever I'm close to a pick. I can run 4-4 this entire game. I can already tell this dude has no offense. But anyway, John Ross, love the pick. Good pick for the Bengals, man. I was tweeting about the draft here and there. Wasn't really saying too much as this guy throws it right at me. God damn, we almost had our first live user pick, or throw right at me. I'm not going to finish it because I didn't earn it yet, but, well, I should have. Fuck me. But anyway, John Ross, very excited he got picked, and especially in top 10, he definitely deserves it. And this dude is going to get picked by Paul Krause as it bounces off Larry Fitzgerald's head. Never seen that before. So I got 2 more things I really want to talk about. Let me just address the Browns real quick. 3 first-round picks for the Browns, 2 of them being defensive players, and 1 of them being a tight end with a name I cannot pronounce. I don't know what it is. It's something crazy. I won't even try. They ended up trading back in to the first round. They traded with the Texans at the number 12 overall pick, and I believe the Texans gave them a first-round pick. I'm not completely sure. Also, the Chiefs traded up to get Patrick Mahomes, which, like I said, I kind of touched on it earlier. I do not really think that was a fantastic pick, but, Patrick Mahomes could be good. I never really watched him. It's just I saw that Deshaun Watson had a better combine than him when I watched the QBs. So, I don't know. It could be, a different ball game. Maybe he plays a lot different. Like I said, Carson Wentz surprised me. But anyway, the Browns actually had a pretty good draft. Will they pan out? I don't know. We all know the Browns have a history of bad draft picks. They did not pick a quarterback in the first round, which is kind of surprising, especially with Deshaun Watson on the board. I thought maybe they'd take a chance on him, but they must have thought, well, we can get somebody later. They might have an idea of who they want to get, and this dude's coming out and man up 3 deep. Whose man is this, dude? Whose man is this? We're going to run with Eddie Lacy. He's coming out and fucking man up 3 deep, and he is going to get completely burned by Lacy, and that's going to get us to the 21-yard line. But I do like the trade by the Texans to go and get Deshaun Watson. Of course, I really feel like the Texans are just a QB away from being a powerhouse in the AFC, and I think they may have got their guy, dude. I hope that Deshaun Watson does well. I don't know why. I'm just a fan of him. Eddie Lacy getting inside the 5 to the 4. What a run by Lacy. We're going to put in the glitch right here. Where's he at? Let's go ahead and put in the glitch at a split close. Andy Janovich. And he's not going in. There we go. Okay, so I do like the trade by the Texans. I feel like they got their guy. Hopefully Deshaun Watson does well. Like I said, I'm kind of hyping him up right now, saying he's better than Trubisky and Mahomes as Andy Janovich walks into the end zone. And we're going to talk about some more stuff when we get back. So the last thing I really wanted to talk about in the draft was the Seattle Seahawks. I did touch on it at the beginning a little bit, but being a Seahawks fan, I got to elaborate a little bit, guys. I don't mind the moves that the Seahawks made trading out of the first round. Obviously, their guy was not there that they wanted to take. I'm assuming they wanted to take the corner out of Alabama. I can't remember his name. I will actually look at. I could actually look at it right now. I think he got picked 24th. Where was that guy? I don't know. I can't see him. Anyway, the list I have is very, very small letters, and I'm going to have to lean over, and it's just a pain in the ass and shit. I don't want to fucking lean out of the camera because that would be unprofessional. Trying to be really professional with these face cam videos, but I will look at it. You guys know who I'm talking about. The cornerback from Alabama that was a first-round talent. I thought that the Seahawks would take him. He got picked before them. They traded back. Their guy may have got taken again, or they were planning to trade out of the first round the entire time. Who knows? You never know with the Seahawks, man. but the Niners get Mason Foster with the Seahawks pick. How I feel about that, that was the only thing that kind of bugged me a little bit, is that you trade a first-round pick to a division rival to get a player that I personally witnessed play very well against the Washington Huskies in the first round of the college playoff. And it was definitely weird that I saw they traded it to the Niners of all teams. But who knows, man. I don't even doubt Pete Carroll and John Schneider anymore. I just don't. You know, they've done so well over the years, of course, picking these players and just turning them into great phenom players like Richard Sherman, who apparently wants to be a Patriot. I don't know what's going on in your head, Sherman. But anyway, shit, man. I had to touch on that a little bit. Richard Sherman to the Patriots. I don't know. I don't think Bill Belichick would put up with Richard Sherman's shit. In fact, Richard Sherman's getting pretty lucky right now that the Seahawks are dealing with his shit. As right here, this dude is going to not convert on 4th and 4. And we're going to get the ball back. And I don't know if this dude's going to quit or what. Doesn't look like he will. So we're going to get some more gameplay, man. I don't think there's really anything else I wanted to talk about in the draft itself. Being a Seahawks fan for years, the Seahawks have traded out of the first round. They've only had one first-round pick in the past 5 years. So, you know, seeing them trade out again was not a shock. And I didn't really expect it. I thought that they would pick somebody, but again, maybe their guy wasn't there. Who I want them to pick, I want them to get Kevin King out of Washington, as Eddie Lacy is going to get inside the 5. Kevin King, I watched him play opposite of Sidney Jones, who I also want the Seahawks to get as this dude. Connection appears to have been lost, and we're not going to play another game, actually. This is going to be it for this video because I've talked about pretty much all I want to talk about. But I did want to say one more thing. Like I said, Kevin King, I want the Seahawks to get Kevin King, cornerback out of Washington, 6'3". He's a great defensive, just basically a bruising corner. He is a physical corner, and I really like him. And also, really not favoritism. I just think that this would be the best fit. Budda Baker, again, out of the University of Washington. He is a safety hybrid corner, and I feel like he would fit really well in the Seahawks system, you know, especially with Earl Thomas's injuries and his possible retirement talk. So who knows, man? And, you know, they could possibly move him to corner if Sherman does get traded. Who knows? But anyway, that's going to do it for this video, man. I didn't really talk about the mid-draft just because I didn't really know many of the players. Like I said, I didn't do my research. I didn't want to talk about shit. I had no idea, you know, what I was talking about. You know, I watched the QB Combine. I watched a lot of the Combine, so I heard a lot of these guys. I saw a lot of them. Really, the one thing that I knew about was Deshaun Watson, and I thought he was better than all the other quarterbacks that got drafted ahead of him. But, you know, that's just my personal opinion. So anyway, I did hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to look out for the next one. And as always, Dangerous Army, I'm out.
Like a Hellcat.